So without further ado, let's shift gears here, and I would like to now introduce our special guest for the month of August, Mr. Billy Pilcher. So a little background here. Billy and I, we go back to 2004. So when I first started with Senior Life, it was actually November of 2003, and the very first trip that I made to Thomasville, Georgia, was actually January of 2004. And that was the very first time that I think that's when I first met you, Billy. I could be mistaken with that. That was back when Senior Life Home Office was, what was that, an old grocery store?
Yeah, actually, at that time frame, we were it was a building across from the house we used to go hang out at.
That's right.
On
That's
Jackson
right. That was the first time I met Charlie Speller and Russ Davis and Mitch Connor, and I remember that night everybody broke out the cigars. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, we get down like that. That's cool. And man, that was
Yeah.
a pretty awesome house. I was really sad to see him let that thing go. But so Billy, we got some history. We've been on cruises together. We've been to Bermuda together. We've been to we've done some trips. Williamsburg, West Virginia. Remember that one? New York, when it was like 20 degrees below. And so I've known Billy for some years off and on sporadically, and since we came back on board with Senior May of 2016, I came to the home office there. I was there for about a week. Got reunited with Billy, and Billy is bigger, better, stronger. More inspirational, more pumped, more passionate, more obsessed, more loyal about Senior Life and his business and this market than he has ever been before. I follow Billy on Facebook on a regular basis, and you want to talk about motivation. He eats, breathes, sleeps, lives motivation. He really, and I think a lot of that, Billy, I'll give your father some credit here. A lot of that comes from your dad, and in the upbringing, and who your dad is, and how successful he's been in his life, also as a coach. And so without further ado, I would like to take this time to give a warm welcome to Mr. Billy Pilcher. Billy, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Rusty. And I just want to first start off saying congratulations on Final Wish Advisor's biggest week, record-setting week for y'all. I know Tricia over 14,000, right at 15 grand in production. That's something to be very proud of. There's only very few select people in the entire nation that hit those kind of numbers, so you're in an elite group, so it's something to be very proud of. Also, Steve, in 3 days, writing $6,500 in production.
2 days. 2 days.
2 days. I'm sorry, 2 days. Yeah, 2 days, writing $6,500. Y'all got some jam-up training. That's y'all are getting it done. Y'all are seeing the people, and not only are you seeing the people, you're helping them with the process. It's obviously working. So $6,500 in 2 days, that's very, very phenomenal as well. Tebby,
Sure.
As well, 4 for 4, 2K in 1 day. That's something to be very proud of as well as a new agent. Kenny G, 3,800, Mr. Consistent, as Rushy said, that's something to be very proud of as well. And then also brand new, Miss Carraz is 1,800, and making a new transition, a brand new career. That's something to be very proud of as well. But just want to say congratulations on y'all's big week, Rusty. I know that we all win when we all win. So we want everybody with Senior Life Insurance Company to win. So congratulations, brother, to y'all on y'all's big week.
Thank you so much, Billy. So, Billy, here's how I like to start off every one of these conversations primarily the same way. And I want to kick off by asking you, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of first share with the group a little background on yourself. Those things can include things like, where you're from, born and raised, family upbringing, and, your interest in your activities, your family. Tell a little bit about your family. And when you kind of get a little bit more personal and give us an opportunity to get to know who Billy Pilcher is on a more personal level, then we'll shift gears and we'll start diving into the meat and potatoes of everything.
Yeah, I'd be glad to. I've been with the company now just shy of 15 years. A little bit of my story prior to Senior Life, I was playing I went to college called Valdosta State University, a small D2 school. I was playing football there, had a scholarship. I tell people all the time I was not good enough to go D1, but just good enough to make D2. So wasn't fortunate enough to play D1 at the major schools we were talking about earlier, Oklahoma or Georgia, which I'm a big Georgia fan, go Dogs, but nothing against Oklahoma. I played at Valdosta State University. Went there for 2 years. and had to claim a major. Now, I will say this. While I was at Val State University, speaking of sports, Kirby Smart, the head coach of Georgia, was one of our coaches there at the time, and also Will Muschamp, the head coach of South Carolina, was there. So it's pretty cool to know at a small school, D2, we had some of the two of the best coaches in the nation at that same place, a small school back then. But we're talking about 20 years ago, so that was early on in their career. But after 2 years, I had to figure out a major. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I was going to coach my dad. My dad's a very successful high school football coach. He's I think he's ranked 25th or 26th in the state of Georgia, winningest high school football coach. He's in the Hall of Fame as well. So I was going to kind of follow his footsteps. I've always loved sports and loved coaching, the coaching aspect of it. And to be honest with you, I always saw myself being a coach. I never thought in my wildest dreams I was ever going to be in the insurance business. But God had different plans for me. After 2 years of college, I didn't know what I wanted to do for a major, so I took the summer off to figure things out. I told my advisor there to help me get my classes orchestrated. I told him I was going to take a summer off. Well, summer turned into not going back because I met my girlfriend at the time, now love my life, married now. We've been together for 17 years. My wife, Brittany, got bitten by the love bug, fell in love, didn't go back to school, which is fine. It was a blessing. God had bigger plans for me, but it was a blessing in disguise. So I dropped out of college. I went from taking a summer off to taking a semester off to not going back. But again, it was a blessing in disguise. God had bigger plans for me, and my path was redirected. So I got a good old-fashioned job, J-O-B. Most of us on the call, maybe we've had it. Worked at a bedding factory making beds. So when you go home tonight and you lay on your bed, there's a box spring under your bed. I made box springs. That's what I did. I worked on an assembly line. This is back in 2002 and 2003, making box springs. We worked at a local place here called Thomasville Bedding. Great man that owns it. I learned a lot. Early stage was a form of a mentor to me. A little bit about business. He's a business owner. I own a small business, small bedding factory he owned, but worked in a warehouse on the assembly line making box springs, and taught me a lot, and I learned a lot from that process. But thank God I again came across the opportunity with Senior Life Insurance Company back in 2004 by a gentleman named Mike Harper. He's still the company, semi-retired, but Mike was a big pillar of Senior Life Insurance Company at early stages, just growing, him and many others as well. But Mike was a regional director of the company at the time, and long story short, Mike got me into the business, and the rest is history. I've been with Senior Life ever since then, and I've just seen this company grow and grow and grow, literally from the ground floor up. I came 4 years after the 2000 when Senior Life came about, when Ron and Dale and a few others had bought Providence Security out in 1970. So I can't say I started right when the company started, but I did come right about 4 years afterwards.
Right. And, you do live in Thomasville, Georgia, where the Senior Life home office is located at, correct?
That's correct. My house is, I don't know, I'm probably 15 minutes from corporate, from the home office, headquarters.
So when you make that statement that I have literally seen this company grow and grow and grow and grow, that is in literal form, both
That's
with
correct.
the number of production, annualized production, and also the home office and the staff and just everything with the company. It's almost like you are the president because you've been there, like you said, almost from the very beginning. And
right.
If you guys ever wanted the inside scoop, what's up and coming, this is the guy to talk to because he's always got the inside scoop way ahead, the rest of us, who are about a good 12-hour drive away from Thomasville, Georgia. So what was it about, not so much Senior Life, let's not focus on that, but let's focus more on Final Expense. You were at the box screen factory there in 2002. You crossed paths with Mike Harper, who was the regional director for Senior Life. What was about the market, the industry, the Final Expense opportunity that really caught your attention and said, let me go ahead and try my hand at this and see what happens?
I mean, it was many things. I'd say the main thing was I saw a young company. I knew of Senior Life, but didn't know them, if that makes sense. I heard about them in my hometown, but didn't know a whole lot about them because I didn't know, to be honest with you, a whole lot about insurance in general. But as I got to hear a little bit more of the story of how Senior Life started, as Mike told me about it, as far as, back in 88 to 99, their their days with the other carrier. They pretty much single-handedly built from the ground up. I say from the ground up, from the 88 up, the ground up their agency, but to help build that company and put them on the map. And then to go buy their own insurance company, I thought that was pretty attractive opportunity because, how many people do you know started in final expense in 1988 and in 1999 buy their own insurance company? So I knew I knew they were successful. I knew Ron and Dale and those that are already part of the journey were winners. I knew that they had a vision, and I wanted to be a part of that. That attracted to me because I want to be around winners. I want to be around people who want to grow and who are hungry. So I think the growth opportunity I saw with Senior Life is what attracted me the most. But only that, the residual side. I didn't know a whole lot about renewals and what renewals were. And as Mike educated me and kind of explained what the business was about, not only can you make a great living and upfront money and commissions off the people the clients that we help, but also of building residual income for your future and your future family as well. So I saw an opportunity to really come in and ground floor opportunity to grow this company, but also get paid really good money and good money in the future off of the residuals.
I'm going to ask you to show your age real quick, Billy. So 2004, when you started, how old were you back then?
I was 23 years of a kid.
You started and you're
baby.
finally. What's that?
I was a baby.
Oh yeah. So you started your final expense career at the very young age at 23. With me, it was 28. And Billy, I'm going to make this statement here. You're one of the few in this industry that has stuck with the same company so far for your entire career. 15 years, you haven't changed from one carrier to another carrier, from one company to a different IMO to go to the broker side. And I can't even say that. Now, I've clicked my heels 3 times, and, my career has come back where it all started back in 2003, right? So
right.
My journey looked a little different than yours. Why have you stuck with Senior Life? You started just as a regular, good old-fashioned agent. You didn't start this career at 23 as a regional vice president for the company. You started as an agent. You've literally worked your way up the ranks over the years. So why have you stuck with Senior Life over the course of these past 15 years and, not strayed and, pursued greener pastures?
I think culture is important, family atmosphere. I think I knew I was a part of people who truly, genuinely cared about us, all the way from the top to bottom. I knew who I was shaking hands with and partnering with. At the end of the day, we all of us on this call, we can go work anywhere we want to work. We can go be with any company we want to be with and pursue whatever dream we want to pursue. You got to find out what fits you the best. But not only that, where can you hang your hat with people you trust? And that was big with me, trust. I knew Senior Life wasn't perfect by any means. Nobody is and never ever will be. There's only one person ever walked face first on Jesus Christ that was perfect. Besides that, nobody's ever going to be perfect. So I knew that, Senior Life was something I could build with, but trust, and I knew they had my best interests at heart because we're such a young company, especially back then. They want to see us be successful. They want to pour into us and see us be successful. So I think the main reason why, as I stayed, is because of trust. I think that's important to me. You got to trust who you're partnering with and trust who you're growing with, knowing that they're going to be with you through the thick and thin. Below that is, as they say, the peaks and valleys. You got people there in your corner to help you, and that's all the way from the people in your leadership role, the team you're with, all the way to the owners of the company and the VPs. They all genuinely care about your success, and that's a big difference because, when you partner with a lot of other outfits, it's pretty much you're just a number. You're just a contract. They send you your marketing material, they send you a couple of little videos and say, make it happen, and send your production report in, and we'll see you on some company trips. And so that's not the culture we have here at Senior Life. We actually generally care about you. As y'all saw probably yesterday on Facebook, they put a video out about how you have 24-hour access to our VPs and presidents of the company. That's how much we care. So, some people use a slogan out there. I'm sure you heard it, Rusty, stick and stay. That's the secret to success, stick and stay. Well, I say stick, stay, and grow. That's the difference between Senior Life versus any outfit out there, any company. Because you can stick and stay anywhere. Don't get me wrong, and I admire that. But I say stick, stay, and grow. And that's what you have with Senior Life Insurance Company is that you can grow and not have to worry about stick and stay and be stuck.
When you say grow, can you elaborate a little bit more on the growth side
Well,
of that formula?
yeah. Yeah, I'm living proof. And I say with humility, thank God I had mentors in my life. Without mentors, I will tell you right now, I would not be where I am today. But I started this company, a 23-year-old kid, with a 70% commission, buying leads.
Wait. Can you repeat that?
I started on a 70-point contract when I was a 23-year-old kid buying leads. We were paying $27 a lead.
That's what I'm talking about. Not
to mention, we didn't have leads in my, we're in small town USA, Thomasville, Georgia, so I didn't have leads in my backyard per se. So I had to drive to Atlanta, Georgia every single week.
How many states was Senior Life in back then in 2004,
6.
Billy?
6 states. We were only in 6 states. We wouldn't even have the opportunity available where you're at. We were only in 6 states.
Yep. No, so I don't mean to cut you off, but as I think of these things, as you're saying these things, I've got to get my question in right away before I lose it. So 70% contract, 70-point contract, buying leads, and only in 6 states. So there were no they weren't even licensed in the state that you were a resident of. So you had to travel and leave your state in order to be able to sell insurance and make money. And Legacy Assurance, they were really big back then, right?
You talking about Legacy Assurance?
That was a sarcastic remark.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's why I was going to say, yeah, they were really big. They were a twinkle in our eye.
It wasn't even a concept or a thought at that point. So you're just selling a plain old fashioned final expense, non-participating whole life insurance policy. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, just pretty much. We had a it was one. Thank God, back then it was still one application front and back, but all we had then was preferred, standard, modified, and easy issue. We didn't have guarantee issue. We didn't have super preferred. We didn't have legacy assurance. It was streamlined, straightforward. And not only that, and our rates back then too were not what they are today. Our rates were a little bit more because we were a young company. We had had to put the rates a little bit higher, so we weren't the most competitive either. To be honest with you, back then we were okay, but not the most competitive. If that makes sense.
So here's another load question for you. When you first got started in final expense on that 70-point contract, 23 years old, 0 experience, and buying leads, how did you get started? What kind of results did you see early on? And when I say how did you get started, I'm talking as far as how many leads, what kind of leads, what was your work schedule, what did that look like? Did you door knock? Did you schedule appointments? Tell me a little bit about that and what you averaged as far as monthly AP for the first year.
I think I've never been an appointment setter. Now, with that being said, I know some people do that and are very successful with it, so not knocking it. My training, my upbringing was coming. We just went and worked the leads. We'd map them out. So my schedule is we'd leave either Sunday night or Monday morning early in the morning, get to Atlanta, Georgia about 9 o'clock in the morning. We would go by the local gas station, and I would buy the local map there because back then I didn't have a cell phone. I had a pager back then, so I was something special. But I had a beeper, so didn't have a cell phone. So literally, and back then, by the way, I'll say that for a minute, but I'd go to the local gas station. I'd buy the map. I'd pull over to the gas station on the side. I'd get my leads out, and I would literally take my highlighter, and I would highlight my route. And so I'd find out where, you take B6, and you come down, and you find the street, and you find it, and you mark it off. And then I would route my best route, highlight, and I'd have to drive. Now, thank God, nothing happened. But imagine me driving, a guy from South Georgia, driving the major city of Atlanta with a map in my hand and driving at the same time trying to find these houses. That was fun, needless to say.
Sure.
So we would start about by the time I mapped my leads out, I'd probably be my first house by 10:30ish, give or take, and we'd get in at dark. And you did not want to be the first one in. We would stay in hotels. A group of us that would go there. Exit 233 to Jury Inn is where we stayed at mostly. And we'd probably have, 5, 6, 7 of us in the hotel. We split the rooms, and Joey Faircloth was one of the guys that would go, and some others as well. And so we'd get in that night, and we'd talk a little smack and a little competition, who wrote the most, and fellowship, and get back up on Tuesday and start all over again. Be at the first house by 9 o'clock and go to a dark. Wednesday, first house by 9 o'clock and go to a dark. Now, our goal is to be done by Wednesday night and go home. But sometimes my goal wouldn't be met, and so I'd have to call in, maybe get some more leads and see if they had anything in those zip codes and get them sent to me. If not, I had to come home and work some leads in my backyard or closer to me or hour or so away. But our goal was to be done by Wednesday night, if not latest Thursday night. But there's been many times I have to work on Friday and Saturday, working follow-up leads in my backyard or something to get the job done.
Okay. Well, what were you averaging within your first year as far as monthly AP? production?
I was probably to be honest with you, 25, cause, about 2,500 a week. I wasn't a gangbuster. I wasn't really knocking it out of the park because I was 23 years old, learning and getting acclimated to the process and closing and presentation, and also maturity was a big thing. To be honest with you, I was mature for the most part for my age, but nowhere near where I need to be as far as business sense and also presentation. So I'd say probably I was averaging 2,500 to 3,000 a week.
Okay. And you were staying in a hotel overnight, pretty much on a weekly basis.
That's correct. Oh, yeah. We stayed.
Yeah.
Pretty much they had a room reserved for us every Monday through Wednesday because we were there like clockwork every week, just about.
What kind of training did you receive early on?
True story. I just say it like it is. I mean, I don't know if it was just time in the week or whatever, but my training was Mike Harper had an office off of Smith Street. Matter of fact, it's probably his office. I got an office off Smith as well now, but his office is probably 2 miles down the road from where I'm at now. But back then, my training was I went to Mike Harper's office, and not your typical training. I know back then they were really hands-on, but maybe I just called it a bad week. But I studied the presentation. We had back then we had our folder, as you probably remember, and laminated sheets, and it had your rates in the back, and had your applications behind it, and had your pitch pad behind it as well. I would pretty much my training was Mike said, study this all day, and then tomorrow come in, and you're going to do a presentation to me, and you're going to at least know it 70%. If not, you can't go out and work until you know it. So I did a couple presentations at Mike's office at his door. I'd knock on his door and walk into his office and pretend he's the client. I did that for all day, for a solid day. He felt comfortable that I was, 70% or more knowing the presentation and know how to overcome a couple of basic objections, and he said, go make it happen. And that's what I did.
So let me make sure I understand this. So you didn't watch training videos. There were no playbook
Nope.
chapters. You didn't have weekly calls that you could dial into.
Nope.
You didn't shadow Mike for a full day or for a week out there in the field. It was
Nope.
Here's a kid, here's a rate book, come to the office, give me a presentation, and once you give me a passing presentation, then you can go sell.
That's pretty much it.
So that is a true example of when there's a will, there's a way. When you're hungry and you're excited, you find a way to get it done. So what do you love about this business, Billy? What is it about final expense? This is not a senior life question. What is it about this business that you are so passionate about?
The clients that we help. As a child, I think again God has His hand, and if you look around, His thumbprints are everywhere. As a child, I used to go spend time with my mother. She used to live in Gainesville, Florida, and the one thing I hated about going to Gainesville, Florida, was there's a bunch of Gator fans down there, so I didn't like that part of it. But I think God had His hand with me at an early age. I used to go stay with my. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had somebody walk over here in my conference room. I was asking them to step out for a second. But I used to go stay with my grandmother in the summertime for a couple months and help her out around the house, do chores, just spend time with my grandma, to be honest with you. We called her Grammy. And it was a very, very important time in my life as a teenager when I used to do that. Even a young adult, even when I was, 10, 11, 12, up to a teenager, I used to go spend time with my grandmother, Grammy, and stay in her summertime. But one thing I was really involved with was her because she's my grandmother. So being around that wisdom and also learning how to talk to seniors and be around seniors because I was around her. But only that, every Wednesday and Sunday we went to church. And we would go on actually Saturdays and help fold the church bulletins with all the other seniors in there. So imagine me, this, anywhere from being 12 years old, 13, 14, I'm sitting in this room with probably 20 women folding the brochures for the church service the next day, the bulletins. And I'm sitting there listening to them talk and having conversations with them and listening to the good old days or talking about the hairdressing experience they had. You name it, all the stories you can imagine I heard. So
sure.
God had His hand involved at an early age with me, being around seniors at an early age, and it helped me tremendously understand how to talk to seniors, like that, be around them. And so I think what I love about this business the most is I get to help seniors each and every day, and they're the ones that need the help the most. We help the 80%, 85% of the world. Nothing against the big policies, big insurance policies, IULs, ULs, the annuities of the world, and term big policies. They have their part in the world, but I just love them. I get more satisfaction out of helping a senior, knowing that when they leave this world, that they have some insurance here to pay for the funeral. But not only are they going to have the insurance now, thank God, with the partnership we have with Legacy Assurance, they got a casket, vault, and headstone, and not to mention the living benefits we have in place now. But So I think the best answer I can give you is the value, but not only that, the peace of mind that we help the senior market with day in, day out, and they're the ones that truly need the most more than anybody.
So, Billy, how long was it into your insurance career before you shifted gears and you decided you want to step into a leadership role and start building a team?
Probably around 2007, so about 3 years later, as I matured in the business a little bit, because, I didn't want to try to lead somebody to do something when I'm not doing it myself at the level it needs to be done. But like that, I think maturity-wise, I need to be mentored and coached a little bit. So I think around 2007, I started wanting to get into the recruiting arena and start recruiting and helping others do what we do and duplicate the process.
Very good. What are the things this day and age, where you're at this stage of your life, primarily at this stage of your career, that excites you the most about getting up, getting out of bed, and getting after it? What motivates you?
Yeah.
What's your why?
Taking Senior Life to the largest finance company in the nation. I want us to be the number one writer in the United States as a whole, and so I want us to all to win as a company. So my why is getting us to number one, and then not only Senior Life number one. I really want to see others as well be successful. I want to see everybody win across the board. Everybody with organization win. Everybody with Senior Life win. Develop other leaders into winners as well, getting them to the next level, helping them achieve goals they never thought they would achieve, helping them achieve income goals they never thought they would achieve, and taking us to $1 billion company. I want to see Senior Life the largest finance company in the nation. And how we're going to do that is we got to lock arms together. Not only got to lock arms together with organizations such as, as yours and everybody involved, but the Final Wishes of Vouchers, that's everybody, company-wide. We got to lock arms and really put our heart and mind and soul into it and go out there with that mindset is that we're a part of something much, 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 much bigger than ourselves. Each and every day when you're out there, you might seem like you're by yourself and you're out knocking on doors, or if you're making calls from your home or your cubicle, whatever it may be, but you're not by yourself. You're part of something much bigger than yourself, and you got to remember that. So when you're out there and it's Wednesday and it's 4:00 in the afternoon and you only got $1,800 on the board, you've been working for 4 days straight, you started on Friday, you've got to remember to keep pushing, keep driving, because there's other people out there just like you doing the same thing.
Well said, my man. Well said. And what Billy just said there is gospel. Billy is one of those few men I have ever known who, even just a recent example, will just randomly and sporadically reach out to you and say, "What can I do to help?" So yep. Billy and I, we're not partners. We are, because we're partners with the same company. We're on the same mission, and we play for the same team. Even though he is a Georgia Bulldog fan, we don't hold that against him. That's all right. But think about that, guys. I mean, how many businesses, how many jobs, how many employment opportunities are out there where you've got somebody who works for the same Walmart but two completely different stores, and one employer at a different store reaches out and say, "What can I do to help you today?" Kind of a bad example, but you get the point that I'm trying to make here is that we all support what comes around will always go around, and you have to give in order to receive. And so if Billy is in the epitome of being on a mission to go out there and serve, and he doesn't have his best interest at heart. He has other people's best interest at heart, and that's why Billy has always been and is still currently extremely, extremely successful today. And Billy, you don't have just 30, 40 agents. Without giving any numbers here, where do you rank as far as regional vice presidents with terms of the size of your group with the company?
Yeah, we're if you've seen the scoop, we're usually in which I want us to be number one, but again, we're usually number 5, number 6 in the nation, but we're working our way up. We got some big things in hopper. It's going to help us climb the ladder even higher. But we probably have active agents, probably 70, 75 agents, but that are appointed with the organization, give or take. So I'd say compared to others, we're not as big, but compared to others, we are. So it just depends on the situation. But we got a long ways to go. We're working on some things we're doing recruiting-wise. It's really working great for us, and so I think in due time we will climb the ladder. I tell people we might not be number one, but I want to be. Don't get me wrong, but we're going to at least rub elbows with them as well and give them a run for the money.
Well, let me make my point here. So there's about a dozen RVPs. You're number 5, ranked around number 5, which means your time's pretty precious. You know,
Right.
you have the same amount of hours as I do, but your group is doing at least double, if not triple, what we are doing, probably even more than that. You know, and here you are devoting and dedicating, sacrificing an hour of your time to help out another group, and that is just a true testament to who Billy Pilcher is. I would like to take a brief pause here, and I want to open this up and make sure that everybody has a fair chance instead of opening up the phone lines here 5 minutes before we adjourn. I want to make sure that I give everybody plenty of time to ask all the questions that they would like. So, guys, what questions would you guys like to ask Billy? Pick this guy's brain and take this opportunity, take this platform to learn something new from somebody different other than Steve and Rusty. Alan?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I know for me, coming in with no experience, 25 years old, I am very apprehensive about like what my future holds with this company. But hearing your testimony and how you came in at 23 years old, no experience, and you've been able to make a career of it and really build your life around it gives me peace of mind, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's very encouraging.
Yeah, thank you. And who am I speaking to?
Mackenzie Flanagan.
Oh, okay. Hey, Mackenzie. Yeah, that's awesome. You know, and what I encourage you to do, and I'm sure you already know this, is get you a mentor. And I'm sure you already have one, but stay close to your mentor. That's what helped me sustain through the years. Because without my mentors, I can tell you right now, I would not be here today. Mentors are vital in what we do. It's instrumental. You need to make sure you stay close to the coaching that they give you. If they say, hey, you need to do this week, go do it. And sometimes you're going to scratch your head and go, I don't know why in the world they're going to ask me to do this. So you got to trust their guidance and their leadership and what they're coaching you to do, because they want to see you be successful, and so they're going to put you in the best position possible to go win. You know, and so
right.
I would say as you grow in this business, keep the main thing. Control your controllables. Don't let what you can't control you. And the 3 things you can control are 3 main pillars to success. That's your attitude, your effort, and your belief. And so stay close to your mentors and control your controllables and keep your attitude and effort and belief where it needs to be day in, day out. You'll always sustain and you'll prevail just like I have over the years.
Billy, when you first started your final expense career, what were one or even some of the biggest mistakes that you made early on?
Stinking thinking. I get some stinking thinking, to be honest with you. I get out there, like I said, out on the island working some leads, and this zip code is blah, blah, blah. These leads, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man, they're getting the good stuff. Oh, blah, 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 just what I call greenhorn rookie mistakes. Just don't let negativity come in your mind. And I'm ultra positive. As you said on social media, you see the things I do, and my daily walk is positive. Everything I do is positive, and I look at negativity as a plague. You've got to get away from it quick, fast, in a hurry. And so, I say some of the mistakes I made early on was just stinking thinking. And as I grew in the business and matured in the business, that was part of my growth was mindset. As y'all said, y'all had a mindset tour not too long ago, and we've been having them all throughout the nation. Mindset in this business is vital, and I'd say, I'm giving you a long answer, but it's important that it's a great question, so it's important people really hear this, because everybody has their breaking point. Everybody's got to understand, see what the breaking point is. For example, when they were building the home office, they were putting those windows in. Everybody probably knows the story. The guy was putting in windows that were not meeting specs, because if the wind mile per hour rating would come in, it'd knock them down. Where the guy was trying to cut corners and put them in the wrong windows. And so over a long period of time getting it corrected, we finally got the right windows in there. But there's a certain mile per hour rating that the windows can sustain before they break. So you kind of look at that and as an analogy is, what's your breaking point? How much can you take, and what can you do not to break? So when you get you get out in the house and people are telling you no sometimes, or you get some no accounts, or you get some people one-leggers where they got to talk to a spouse, or you're knocking on doors and not catching people home. You got to be able to bend but not break, and you got to sustain and push through that. So I say, stinking thinking, but don't have a breaking point. Bend but don't break.
think that's a good segue into this next question I want to ask you. So, no matter how good a person is, Billy, you're going to have a bad day. You're just going to have bad weeks from time to time. It happens to me. It happens to Steve. I know it's happened to you. It happens to the best of the best of the best. Back when you were a full-time producer, how did you overcome those challenging moments in your career?
Get around winners. Talk to winners. Don't talk to people that aren't getting the job done. Don't talk to people that are not getting the job. The results that you see. It's the law of the lid. If you go get around other people that are writing $1,000 a week or $1,500 a week, what kind of conversations are y'all going to be having? You know what I mean? So get around people writing 4 or 5. Heck, get around Miss Walker there writing 15,000 a week. That's who I'm going to be talking to. That's who I'm going to be hanging out with. So I'd say get around winners. Hang around winners, be around winners, talk to winners, do what winners do, learn what they're doing, learn everything. That's what I love about this business is everybody wants to see you win. So if you see other people winning, get around those people. And that's vital in this business. So I'd say the main thing is keep the main thing, and that's getting around people that are winning and doing the job, getting the job done, and that's very important.
Indeed. Questions, comments, feedback, guys. Give you another opportunity here. Who has a question for Mr. Billy Pilcher?
Just a comment this morning. Very nice to meet you. Tricia Walker, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Every time I hear one of these, it always goes back to knowing
Don't make me cry.
it always goes back to knowing that the Lord directed you.
Amen.
Whether you're 23 or I'm 41, and it really is about helping these people. And I think that the successful people are so passionate about that on such a hyper level. And then God just pours an abundance into that. And every day I am so thankful.
That's awesome. Well, that's you have a passion to serve people. It's important that people need to keep the main thing. The insurance business is very financially rewarding, but it's not about the money. It's about the process and helping families. And like Rusty, I appreciate you saying that. But that servant mentality. Look at Jesus. What kind of person he was. He was a servant. And when you have that type of outlook on life, not only your personal life but your business life, it's just the things they're attracted to you. You're going to get that type of response back from people because they know your heart's in it for the right reason, and you're trying to serve people and help them and genuinely care about them.
Amen. Tricia, thank you for that comment. I, for one, really appreciate that, as I appreciate you on a daily basis. Billy, why do you think you've been so successful in your final expense career?
That's a question with many answers. I think, again, it comes back to mentors I had in my life, coaching me along the way and pouring into me. Mentors to this day pouring into me. I think a company like Senior Life, that's an agent-owned company. They know what agents need. As I say many times, we are agents. We're built by agents and for agents, and so we know what agents need. We don't have a bunch of doctors, lawyers, and Indian chiefs running our company. We have agents running our company, so they position us to be successful. Just like your leader's going to position you to be successful, the company does as well. So I think, and I got a long way to go. But what little bit of success I've had is because of mentors and the company. I think what we're doing every day, as you see, I remember when we first started this company, we'd write applications, and we turn in on Friday. We get back from Atlanta on Thursday. We turn applications on Friday. Yep. And then you would get paid the following week, once a week. And so to see where we came from weekly pay to turning paper apps in to e-apps, same day pay if you get a check before 3 o'clock turned in. I mean, it's just light years ahead of where we started, and we're growing even more. And we got other things as a company we're going to be doing in the future as well that's going to make it that much better for the agents that's already more than what it is. We're going to keep doing things as a company. And so I think I've just been very blessed with a company like Senior Life to put me in a situation to grow with a young company, but not only that, be around mentors in my life that helped me grow along the way.
Point of information before I make this next comment. So I'm very young. I'm a extremely young 45, and Billy, I know you're, what are you, pushing 40? Have you turned the big 40?
Not yet. I'm about a year away.
Right, that's what I thought. All right, because I was doing the math here. 2004, you were 23, 15 years later. Okay. So we're still young, but, we've been doing this long enough to where we can talk about, what things were like and how things were back when we started, and that's really cool. Because back when I started, kind of similar. So you were brought up in the Pal and Pal, the P&P agency formula, which is get your leads on Friday. You should be at your first house buyer before 9 a.m. Monday. Well, Monday was when we would drop off our business at the office, paper forms. Nothing was electronic back then. You dropped off your business. You picked up your tangible leads, the actual hard copy leads. Nothing was emailed. No, there was no portal back then. Everything was manual. And so we'd have our little rah-rah session, and then we'd go out to have some lunch afterwards, and then I'd go back to my then apartment, and I scheduled appointments, and I'd start smiling and dialing and loading up my week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was typically when I got it done, sometimes a Friday, kind of like with you, sometimes a Thursday. And then Friday night or Monday night, I hit the road. I like traveling at night. Typically, I was on the road around 9 o'clock at night, get to my destination, depending how far away it was, anywhere from 9 to midnight. And that was it. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm grinding, 9 to 9. From sunrise to beyond sunset, baby, as Charlie Speller would say, or 8 to 8.
Mm-hmm.
8 to faint.
Mm-hmm.
8 to faint. That's what he used to say, 8 to faint. And we didn't know any better. We just saw an opportunity. We were hungry. We were passionate. We bought into what we were doing and the difference we were making. And, this business really, really, truly has gotten so much easier today than, how it was when you and I first started. Billy, as we put a close on this, what advice would you give someone who is fairly new with their organization? If you had it all over to do again, what advice would you give somebody who's brand new to the organization or just to the business?
Take pressure off of you and put it on the process. Too many times you question the process and in turn it's going to question yourself. And what I mean by that is the process is, as you just talked about there, being at the first house by 9:30 and working until dark, as long as it's a good neighborhood. The process is following your leadership, follow your coaching. The process is working leads week in, week out. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't think, well, I'm going to take leads this week but not take them for 2 weeks. You got to be consistent because if you're not working the lead program, you're taking pressure and you're putting it on you. And the system is not built that way. The process is built to put pressure on the process so the results will come. Get 15 presentations in a week. I'm sure y'all have heard that many times. So you got to get in 15 presentations. So there might be some weeks you get 15 in by Wednesday within 3 days. There might be some weeks it might take you 6 days. But the bottom line is just have your 15 presentation goal in place week in and week out and follow the process. Also have your weekly goal of, let's say your goal is to write 5,000 in a week in annualized premium. So you need to, for your road warriors, if you're working in the field, when you get in your car, you need to have I recommend this little thing you can buy, and it's a little sticky note tab that'll hold up in your car, and you put it up, and it'll stay up in your car right in the middle console on the dash, and right on there, 5,000. So when you go in the house and you write a $50 a month premium and a $600 annualized premium, deduct the $600 from the 5,000, so you'll track where you're at. Don't just go through the week of just winging it, going, oh, I wonder where I'm at. Know where you're at. To the
great advice.
Yeah, so hey, I'm 2,200 away from my 5,000 goal because it's right in your face. It's there in your car. You see it. And then when it's Thursday and your goal is to write 5,000 and you only wrote 3,700 and you got 5 leads left and you're beating them up, get 5 more leads. Call your leader up and say, look, my goal is to write 5,000. I'm about 2,200 away, 22,000, whatever it may be. I'm going to need some more leads. Get some more leads in the same zip code you're working and go see some new leads to finish out the week strong. Don't be afraid to get leads. If you're afraid to get leads, you're questioning the process. You're questioning your leadership. You're questioning the company. The company is positioning you to be successful, but you've got to go out there and do the things necessary to be successful, and that is follow the process. Because if you think about it, you get 5 more leads. You know, you write 1 app, 2 apps off those 5. That's the difference between meeting your goal and not. And only that, that's the difference between making the extra $300 to $1,000. You know, and helping more families. Our goal is to do what? Help families. Those people sent leads in for what? Help. So don't be afraid of getting more leads. Don't be afraid. And then not only that, your leadership's not going to let you fail. Is you're out there working your tail off, busting your fanny day in, day out, and your leadership knows that, and they see that, and they see you're calling in, and you're asking questions, and you're doing things, and you're interacting, and your passion shows. Because passion, you know, results go where passion flows. You know, if you're getting a lot of results, for example, you know, Miss Walker writing $15,000, there's no second guessing of what her passion's at. The results show. You know, Steve writing 6,500. Miss Robinson going 4 for 4. You know, Kenny J writing 3,800. First day, Miss Carraz 1,800. I mean, the results tells everything. And so, but if you're out there and you're busting your tail and you're not getting the results like you need, your leadership's not going to let you fail. There, as Mr. Dale said many times, and many others, but if you'll follow my lead and follow my process, I'll drag you to the top. You know, Mr. Dale always would tell people that. And so your leadership team has that same upbringing, the same mentorship as well. Rusty's not going to let you fail. Y'all have one of the best leaders in this company, and I've told him that before. You know, Rusty, if you know his background, he's had a lot of success over the years, no matter where he's been. And so y'all need to gravitate toward him and latch on to his expertise and his leadership, because if you do, not only are you going to rise to the top, you're going to take FWA to the top as well and help and ultimately take Senior Life to the top. So I highly encourage you to take heed of this, what we're talking about, lock arms, and let's go do that and make it the best year yet, 2019. I found out 2 days ago, Robert Shiver told me that we're the 3rd largest writer in the United States. We found that out so far for 2019. So we're on track, guys. We're going to get the number 1 spot. So each and every one of you on this call, you're a part of that. You know, you're a part of taking Senior Life to the top. So know that every family that you help is ultimately taking Senior Life to the number 1. So you're going to be a part of a legacy that's going to be remembered forever.